ILM did the bulk of the work on the film, particularly all of the big CG creature shots on the film. And we had quite a big team, about 325 people working on the show. I and the other visual effects supervisor were on for about 2 years, probably, from the start of the film to the end. And the film had a lot of challenges for us. One of the big things was that we had so many different creatures. And you know, Stephen Sommers packed the film to the rafters with all these different icons of horror. And Frankenstein's monster was actually done as a makeup by a captive audience. All of the other creatures were almost either entirely CG or maybe a little bit of human matched in the case of the brides. And they presented a bunch of different challenges depending on the creature that really required us to develop some new tools and techniques and that sort of thing. The wolves had fur to deal with, and their brides, all their different hairstyles, and that was something that really required an almost complete rewrite of our hair technology. We had to, for the transformations, painstakingly match the motions of the actors and then set it up so they could appear to be ripping off their skin to reveal the inner beast, as it were, or even more seamlessly transforming their clothes into wings or whatever. So we had to create quite a few new tools for that. This is Hugh Jackman, who plays Van Helsing in the film, and it's no secret by now that he transforms into a big werewolf at the end for a fight with Dracula. We had to match Hugh's performance, and then we sort of enhanced it in various ways. And then, you know, had to develop this way of him ripping out of his skin and the wolf basically transforming from man size into creature size. Richard Roxburgh also has to transform into the Hell Beast, and that was a much more fluid transformation because the vampires were used to it essentially, so they weren't going to run through a new set of clothes every time. This is one of the great sets Alan Cameron built in LA, but of course, you know, they didn't build the roof, so we had to extend that. So we saw the background plate for this shot before, and this is the rough blocking for a shot where the two animals tumble down from the ceiling. Again, really quick. Not everything has to be perfect, but it's giving us a sense of what the broad action is going to be. Here's how the final shot comes out. We've got all the action, we've added some camera shake, additional sparks. The compositor is a person who's gone in and combined these into the background. A technical director has done the lighting to make the fur and the properties of the creatures look real. Even if the actor wasn't transforming in a shot, we'd often get someone like Hugh Jackman would actually perform his role as the wolf. And so he's here working with David Wenham and there's Kate Beckinsale. We put the wolf over the top and just paint out Hugh where he sticks out from behind the wolf. That really guides the performance, it helps the editing, and it really helps us when we're working on creating the shot. We'll have a cutout of the wolf to help us frame the shot. And also, it's good to be able to have the performance to guide. Here's a performance that Richard Roxburgh did as Dracula dying. And Dracula dying, you know, Dracula's been killed off in so many movies. It's great to sort of say, okay, how can we make this a bit different? What can we do that's going to be something new with the death of Dracula? And we thought this was a particularly nasty way for him to meet his end. Mr. Hyde was a challenge for us because you know, he's got skin, he's supposed to be just a really big guy, and so he also got, you know, mutton chops and stubble and all these subtleties, and then he's smoking, so we had to do computer graphic smoke and simulate his clothes, simulate his hair. Also because he's sort of large, but he's sort of muscular, we had a little bit of jiggle and give that you can see, so his muscles move. You know, it needs to be slightly firm, so we need to play a lot with getting the right feel for his muscle. And then early in the film, just to jump back to the beginning of the movie, we also have these scenes with Richard Roxburgh, who plays Dracula, as I mentioned, coming out of the fireplace. So we also shot a stuntman coming out, and you can see Richard's got dots on him that help us match his performance. We had a stuntman on fire as well, and we also had some stuff on him, so we could take their two performances, blend them together, and then also add in the computer graphics of Dracula regenerating after he's been flung into the fireplace. Another shot from the opening is one where we shot on the backlot of Prague originally. This was just the top section of the windmill. We built the top section of this windmill and a bottom section, full size in Prague, and we shot a plate like this for the top, and we can look at the sort of things that we do a shot like this. So we add a sky, dramatic, scary sky, add some more explosions. Down below, where we just had the camera crew, from the other part of the windmill, we got up high on a crane and shot a bunch of footage of the peasants. We also added electricity and stuff in Frankenstein's monster's skull, because there was no way of really achieving that in the makeup that was devised. On this shot, where Dracula's jumping down, that was a big miniature that we built on our backlot at ILM. Because we knew we were going to add a tilt from the windmill down to Dracula, but because Dracula and the brides, you never really saw the tilt while they were jumping down particularly, we decided we could actually shoot that locked off. And what we did was take the film camera, turn it on its side, creating a much taller frame, and then filmed the windmill with that. And that way we could go back later and add whatever camera move we wanted, and it sort of, in terms of whatever timing of tilt we wanted, and it would work.